Good afternoon. I'm Mason County Judge Executive Owen McNeil, and I'd like to call the June 25th special call meeting, Mason County Fiscal Court to order. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome commissioners and welcome those in attendance for court. I'd also like to highlight my good friend Robin Rice is here, County Attorney John Estel, who is indisposed today. I'd also like to welcome our Ledger Independent. Now, first and foremost, I would like to call for a motion that Mason County Projects Director Kim Muse serve as our clerk for this meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Clerk Schumacher is indisposed today, and so all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
I don't.
Can we take roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, take roll, please. Yes,
I'll
I'm not
help
sure
you
how
out
that
there.
works.
I'll help you out there, brother.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
and Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. There, we got that out of the way now. We're good. So, Clerk Muse, give me one more roll call. Let's make sure everybody else is here, and then we'll get rolling, please.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, in your packet, you'll see the first thing on the docket is the Sheriff's Office, and we have Chief Deputy Colton Limble joining us today. Good afternoon, Chief Deputy.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In your packet, you will see Resolution 25-13 for their annual cruiser purchase. Colton?
Sir. Good afternoon, once again. Speaking on behalf of the sheriff who's out of town, our office is requesting the acquisition of two 2024 Dodge Durangos, stock numbers D240833 and D240851 to add to our fleet. I think last year, the year before, we kind of started shaping up and working towards trying to purchase two per year. It's working great for us. We would like to continue that. I think overall it's keeping our maintenance back down a little bit. Trying to find cars has been a little bit more difficult. Was told that Bachman was not going to have any, and the other place that we went through in the past did not have any. As expected, I think I anticipated this was going to be an issue. Ultimately, Bachman and Louisville ended up having a couple. They are brand new. They are the black Durangos as we got the last 2 years. Typically the price on them, so they're 2024s, but they're still brand new. The warranty doesn't start until the purchase of the vehicle. And typically the price of this vehicle should be around $42, $43. The dealership is willing to, they want them off the lot, so that way they can start getting new ones in. And they're willing to sell them for $39,999, which keeps it under the $40,000 bid amount. Ultimately, I think it still saves us money by not having to put something in the paper and going that route.
I agree.
Overall, the outfitting. So the outfitting will be a little bit different this time. It's the same company, but I say different because we have a K9 now. So you'll still have the set amount for the two cars, but then the one car will be a little extra because it has to have a cooling fan and some other equipment related to K9. The cage is a little different. It's a 2/3 cage. We felt that was going to be best simply because, 2/3 of the car will be for the dog and the other side will be for a prisoner. That way, if that person by chance happens to be out by themselves, then they'll still be able to take somebody to jail. I do have the quotes for that. The quotes, so and I can provide it to you if you don't have it. You'll have the base price up here, and then the K-9 portion was different. So the K-9 is actually gonna come out of our K-9 donation fund, and then the law enforcement capital expense line item would cover the other two outfits. Outfitting did go up a little bit, as also expected. It looked like it was up about $1,000, so around $13,800. However, I think we get approved for that, but I think there's a couple little things that take it down at least $300 or $400. A couple lights that I think was actually only put on there. So he's working through that, but other than that, that's what we're requesting.
Where are they coming from again?
Bachman
Bachman, that's
Chevrolet.
right.
Yep, they're out of Louisville. And then essentially what will happen is, if approved and graciously approved, they will deliver them based on the financing stuff. We'll work through that. They'll get delivered down to Ridgenet and Somerset, and Somerset will outfit them whenever they get the opportunity, and then we pick them up fully outfitted, ready to go. Our goal is to surplus a couple as well, but we want to wait until we get the two in before we surplus. But I would expect probably by September's meeting or so, we should be able to surplus two of our older cars and rotate them out of the fleet, and then that'll keep our thing, we get two, we surplus two.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Moving on.
Commissioners, some added notes to this is, as Chief Deputy mentioned, we came together on generous funding amount for our Sheriff's Department. And I think we cannot go forward without highlighting the efforts that Sheriff Swolsky and Chief Deputy Linville and all the Sheriff's Department have put forth in joining the rest of county employees in being expeditious and saving monies. And so Sheriff Swolsky, myself, Colton, and some others met on these. I agree that it might be a month or two early, but I feel like this is an opportunity with these being 24 models. We're brand new, and Sheriff Swolsky and his team have done a fantastic job working with our Treasurer's Office, Megan and Keno, in kind of watching the dollars. And I think we're 50% of the way there to getting a fleet, that is a lot more value as opposed to hemorrhaging money fixing parts, things like that.
Dependable.
Yes, sir.
And if I may add too, I'll say early, so this would still go on for next year's budget. But just knowing kind of how this kind of operates, that we don't typically make any money moves until the following year. So here in a few months, and and we don't pay until next year, correct? Unless it's a lease or purchase.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, but it was getting harder to try to find some cars, and so now we're going to reserve two for us. Depending on how the meeting went, and then we go from there. And honestly, we're saving, if we could kind of stay on the same rotation for timeline.
Don't jinx us.
We're saving, hopefully, money every year. I know it's buying them a year older, but they're still brand new.
Yeah.
So if we can
I
catch
like
the
it.
tail end of that, we save $3,000 or $4,000 per car. That's almost $7,000 or $8,000 per vehicle, or for two.
And I'll also highlight Chief Deputy's efforts in helping with the emergency management vehicle, and did a fantastic job getting the harnesses and build outs for that.
So if I remember correct, this comes from their portion that.
Correct, yes, sir.
From their budget, yeah.
Yes, sir. We just approved
Right.
asset acquisitions, yes, sir.
Right, sure. I'd like to make the motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion? We have a second?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Is there any additional discussion?
Colton, how much more does it cost him to equip it? Like for the dog and all?
Give me 2 seconds here. It looks like for the dog itself was an extra, so I'll just read off per the line item.
You can just yeah.
K-9 prisoner transport, American aluminum, that was $4,000. K-9 fan, radio electronics, that was $343, and then the fan guard. So you're roughly at $4,500 extra for K-9.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't do is like the pop lock It's not a bite dog, so we didn't feel the need to. There was another $4,000 that would have been spent on that. But there's like fail safes anyway that prevents the car from overheating. God forbid that were to happen with this system.
That's kind of what the fan does, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, yeah, we're remiss without highlighting the community support in the fundraisers the sheriff's department has done for that portion of it. That's a good point, Commissioner Frank. So we have a motion.
That's good.
We have a second. Any additional discussion?
I just want to make sure the motion is only for the purchase of the vehicle, because it's a special meeting. So for that resolution only, and then they can do the rest and it'll be approved at a different meeting.
Okay, yeah. So the motion should be for
It's for the 79,000, yeah,
the resolution.
correct.
Because it's in the resolution.
Yeah,
Right.
resolution. So
2513.
Motion to approve resolution 25-3.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. You want to
So if
second
I'm-
that? Yeah, go
Make
ahead.
sure for my part, is it next meeting
Yeah,
that
I
we present
second.
the electronics?
You can, or you can just, I mean, you all normally
pay
just get
only
it
the
out,
pay
go
on
ahead
it.
and get it outfitted and
Okay.
turn it in after the
That
fact.
works.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah.
So we got a motion. We
Got a
have a
motion?
second.
Okay.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, my friend. Well done.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Appreciate
sir.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next up on your docket, we've got a report from Emergency Management. We have Emergency Management Director Tony Lease joining us today for Resolution 25-12, Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue Annual Agreement.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
So before you hear with the Resolution 25-12 is the annual agreement with the Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue, Mason County Fiscal Court, and Mason County Emergency Management. This is basically the same agreement that we have every year. Hopefully, next year we'll make some additions to this because the search and rescue team is expanding. They thankfully have been able to add their drone team with the purchase of a grant. We've actually also with Lieutenant, is it Lieutenant or Sergeant Tibbs?
Sergeant
Tibbs.
Sergeant Tibbs.
Been able to add that search dog as well as another search dog. So we see the team continuing to expand. We actually had 3 new members that were voted in at the last meeting. So we continue to see improvements there with the search and rescue team. I know that's not a part of the resolution, but I was just, so I don't know if you would like for me to read over that or.
No, we'll give them an overview. Commissioners, every year we do a resolution not only in support of Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue, headed up by Chief Eddie, but the partnership between the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Management. Now, in previous years, that was a rate predicated on the population amounts within the county. However, in recent years, we have changed that to a flat amount, not an increase, not a decrease, because the Department of Local Governments made it seem like the way it read, it seemed like we were charging them or they were charging us, and so it's just easier for a flat rate. Now, in spite of the expanded team, the expanded capabilities and bringing a lot more value to the county of Mason County and the citizens of Mason County, we're still at the rate of $2,106.25. And so I believe it is 3 counties that.
So we have agreements with Robertson, Mason, and there's also, they're not in writing, but we also have verbal agreements with Fleming and Bracken.
Yes, sir.
Fleming and Lewis as well.
Okay. So ultimately, they use these monies for operations. They meet monthly, and in addition to this $2,106.25, at their next meeting Wednesday, we're going to pick up pizza for the volunteers as well. And so I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 25-12, Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue Annual Agreement.
I'll second.
No, go ahead, Dave.
That's all right, I'll second.
I'll second. Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by
Tony.
Commissioner Frame and a second by Commissioner McKay.
I just want to tell you, I had an experience last night to watch those search dogs.
Yes.
They're something else. Yeah,
It's one of those tools, not the,
They were
that you hope you
training.
never have to
Yeah.
use, but if we,
Yeah.
it's good to know we got them
I
available.
watched them train, yeah.
Yes.
When is that meeting, Tony? Is it next week or is it this week?
I'll have to look at my calendar.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sure.
Well done. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Also, in addition to Tony's report, Tony's taking the lead in my stead on the water tower next to the YMCA. The county road barn and detention center's repeater, radio repeater is on top of that tower, along with the Ham Radio Operators Club. I previously thought we were leasing that, but our partners with City of Maysville generously allow us the use of the tower, and so we're gonna have to expend what I expect to be $1,500, $2,000 to unhook it, climb up, unhook it, bring it down while they restore and rehab the tower, then we'll put it right back up. And so, that was a pretty good overview.
Yes.
Okay.
We're meeting Monday to discuss all the final details, what has to come down, what has to go, but, yes.
We're gonna rehab it and paint the tower, and so it's probably on us to take care of our own equipment, and we'll help the ham radio operating team out as well, just as a point of order. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Question on that, Judge.
Yes, sir.
The repeater, how old is that up there?
It's getting up there, I think.
That I'm not exactly sure. I know Larry Dodge could probably give you the exact date. He is the president there of the Ham Radio Club. I do know that they just replaced the cables that come from the repeater and the antenna on top just last fall. They put new cables and antennas up. And I'm not sure about the repeater, the age of it or what.
Well, I'm concerned about the age of the repeater. Since you've already got it down, maybe we ought to take a look. I mean, if refurbish it, but maybe. take
Sure,
a-
okay,
take a
heard
look
it.
at
Yes, sir.
That's
Possible to put a new one up there. I mean, I hate to do that, and 6 months from now, I turn around and take money to buy a new one. I mean, it's just food for thought.
Sure. Well, I'll be glad to get some information on that for you. Sure will.
And it's just an additional point. This is I think this is outside of the communication system that we share with the city vis-à-vis for the dispatch system too.
Yes.
Whole bunch of repeaters, and you gotta track which one goes to what, so.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Good note, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Lisa.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, in your packet, next up, you will see the landfill. In your packet, you will see Resolution 25-14, the purchase and lease of a 2026 Mack Granite F truck. Director Cooley had a emergency issue there at the landfill with some kind of tubing coming loose. He wanted to come here and present this. However, this is part of our revolving roll-off truck program with the guys in Alabama, and I wrote that with Tony and J.M. Wood Auction Company down in Alabama. Now, in no way do these make money. However, we have seen increases in rotating to keep these trucks new in an effort, like at our sheriff's department, to update our fleet somewhat. And so, the auction for the truck it replaces is in September upcoming. And so I would entertain a motion to approve.
Just curious, any idea what to expect on that auction? Any idea? No.
Yeah, I talked to the guy last year and we made a little bit of money last year, but nothing. You remember the first year we got in the program, that like the first truck made the county something like 54, I guess you can't say it that way.
Mhm.
We received $54,000 more than we actually had in the truck. Last year it wasn't as great, however, it's a fantastic opportunity to use the truck. I'm very pleased with how well the crews out at the landfill are treating the equipment. We've had a couple of discussions about, keeping it nice, because some of these units will be going back. And they've done a fantastic job with that, but there's just no way to predict. So again, I will entertain a motion for the resolution approving the lease for the financing of one Mack roll-off truck for the Mason County landfill.
So moved.
Got a motion,
I second.
and we have a second. Is there any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, also in your packet, we have a request for surplusing out of the landfill. We have a late model Ford F-350 that started life at our road department, had an engine fire, actually surplused this F-350 to the landfill, who got the correct harnesses, got it repaired. Now, in talking with Director Cooley and Director Brown, the highest best use for the F-350 would be back at the road department, and we'll be considering the animal removal trailer potentially for that, but also as a parts truck down at the road department. It's still a good truck, and it's doing well. So we're gonna surplus it back down to the road department with your approval.
So moved.
Got a motion, and we have a second. Any additional discussion? Oh, and it's a 2018. Here we go.
Yes. Low mileage.
Got a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, that brings up our treasurer's report, and we have the treasurer here today, Ms. Megan.
I'd like the court's authorization to pay claims as presented, including additional claims totaling $86,788.24.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay, Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to have the court's approval to make budget transfers totaling $298,500.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any, any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd like to have second reading and adoption of ordinance 2502, the 2025-2026 budget that you have attached in your
Package.
packets. So before I start, I want to go over a few changes made after the first reading by DLG. There were two changes made after the first reading. This change increased the total budget amount from $27,763,655 to $27,560,000. $835,880, for an increase of $72,025 from the first reading. This increase is the addition of the county clerk storage fees fund to the budget.
Read those figures back again, please.
It went from $27,763,855 to $27,835,880.
Now, our process for a county within the Commonwealth of Kentucky, we always, first reading, prepare our budget, submit it to the Department of Local Governments, DLG, for comment and review. Unless I'm mistaken, the clerks across the state have always had funding for storage fees. However, this is the first time they've asked that line amount to also be included in the county's budget amount. And so we now, going forward, include Clerk Schumacher's storage fees that they obtain into our own budget.
So there are no other major additions to the budget. However, the reserves for the solid waste fund were decreased. That's another DLG request. Therefore, the 2025-2026 budget is $541,644 less than the current year's budget.
And that was because of some grants.
Some grants, yeah. Okay. An ordinance relating to the annual budget and appropriations, be it ordained by the Mason County Fiscal Court, Kentucky. Whereas the proposed budget was tentatively approved by the Mason County Fiscal Court and approved as to form and classification by the state local finance officer on the dates listed below. Approval by the Fiscal Court, May 13th, 2025. Approved by state local finance officer, June 2nd, 2025. Section 1, the following budget is adopted for the fiscal year specified herein, and the amounts stated are appropriated for the purposes indicated. General Fund, $9,748,510. Road Fund, $2,444,988. Jail Fund, $4,096,567. Local Government Economic Assistance Fund, $840,600. State grants, $123,815. Federal grants, $467,000. Solid Waste Fund, $413,050. Landfill, $8,384,000. Garbage Collections Fund, $1,030,125. Clerk storage fees, $72,025. And opioid settlement funds, $215,200. Section 2, this ordinance shall be published in the Ledger Independent by title and summary within 30 days following adoption. Section 3, this ordinance becomes effective upon passage and publication.
Now before motions to approve this budget, let me say, now incredibly proud not only am I of Treasurer Davenport, but also our whole financing team and every employee that is here at Mason County. As Commissioner Hearn stated, this year's budget, while is shaved $541,000 less than last year's budget, doesn't make our entity immune from some of the rising costs that all of us as citizens here in Maysville, Mason County are seeing. But also is a reflection of finalizing that senior center rehab budget up in the East End. Also, in thinking this morning on the budget, wanted to highlight even our animal shelter division, and went back and looked 4.5 years ago. Our animal shelter, which has grown to become one of the state's best practices, by utilizing a public-private partnership model. And 4 years ago, we went from 1 employee to now 3 full-time and 3 part-time folks, with no significant additions to our budget. We have partnered with our volunteer team, our Rock for Rescue folks, and in the meantime, managed to complete the Phase 1 expansion, of course, but last year, which wasn't in this year's budget, but was the animal run. All but have completed Phase 2 with an additional 30 kennels. And will soon complete Phase 3 at the shelter, which will be that upward tier of kennels. And so in addition to that, every animal that comes in there is not only immunized, but vetted, spayed, neutered, and even microchipped. Talked about completing Phase 3, and all of this at no increased cost to our public. In addition to that, we completed the telecommunications project this year that's saving this county thousands of dollars a month, which add up very, very quickly. We completed Phase 6, a $5 million project out that we bonded out at the landfill, with all of my gratitude to Director Cooley, who managed to project manage that project well north of what the expected costs were, so much so that we will incur no financing charges to build a professional office out there that is needed, as opposed to the current 60-year-old construction trade. Also wanted to report our broadband project is moving along. We still retain the monies for the match there. However, we're making inroads with our pole rights with Fleming Mason, all but down to 20 or 24 pole right permissions remaining. KU is 1,500 to 1,600, but we're working to assist them. And then, of course, our Hazelwood housing project, redevelopment project, our Mitsubishi $50 million Department of Energy grant, with no small thanks to Economic Development Director Tyler McHugh. Within this budget, you will find an averaged across the board pay raise of 4.5%, which is nowhere near the amount that it should be, given the dedication of the employees here at Mesa County. And so, as I mentioned before, we're kind of stuck in the middle of being exposed to all the increasing costs that everyone sees, not only in your household, but here at the county, but also in a governmental system that flows downhill, as they say. And so the feds are pushing pretty heavy on the state level, which in turn is pushing pretty heavy on the local level. We're seeing cost increase at our jails. We're seeing cost increase just at the gas pump for our trucks and petroleum, even for paving. However, we are doing a fantastic job stretching every dollar that comes in and utilizing the dollars we're entrusted with. I will also take my hat off to the commissioners who have been right along with us in saving this money. But I will say 3+ years ago, our reserves we're down to $27,500. At some point, within the next 3 meetings, we will propose the development of a $2.5 million reserve amount. We will codify that amount as a savings amount for the county, codified by ordinance that should our savings or emergency fund, just as you would have in your own family, ever fall below that amount. No new trucks, no new raises, nothing. And I firmly feel at that meeting, it will be a new start for Mason County. And I applaud our employees, and I applaud this court and commissioners for 18 months to 2.5 years of extreme belt tightening. And at some point within the next 3 meetings, we're on track to do that. And so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Good.
Sorry for that long-winded
No.
appeal. Got up here rambling. Our budget's down. Costs are up, our budget's down. We can thank the employees and we can thank the commissioners for that. And I appreciate everyone's help in doing that. And I feel like we have very positive times in front of our community going forward. So I agree. I will entertain a motion to approve our 2026 budget.
So moved.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Do we have any additional discussion? Additions or deletions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
And I need a motion to increase the interfund transfer amounts that were approved at the July 2024 meeting. Increasing the general to jail amount from $500,000 to $875,000 per auditor's request.
500.
I need we do interfund transfers in between funds,
Right.
and we're getting audited right now for 23-24. And she come to me and she's like, Megan, you're getting close to the jail part for 24-25. You need to go ahead and up that.
Oh,
So,
like
a max.
Yeah.
A max they put in.
yeah.
Every July we give you
An
it
amount,
says general
yeah.
to jail, general to solid waste.
Right.
And it'll go over this year if she doesn't
Yeah.
do this now.
They'll, yeah.
I'll
Thank
make
you.
that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't see.
That's
Well
it.
done.
Thank you.
Well done. That is a fine budget, my friend.
Increasing
Uh,
375.
Commissioners, in your packet, you'll see a resolution. We were asked to do Resolution
Here, I got it.
25-15, expressing support for the Jobs Corps of Kentucky Region 2 program. They do a lot of work in partnering with our Federal Workforce Investment Board through a multitude of different names. And so I will read this resolution. Resolution, Mason County Fiscal Court of Mason County, Kentucky, expressing support for the Job Corps of Kentucky Region 2 and urging continued federal funding for the Job Corps program. Whereas the Job Corps centers located in Kentucky provide vital career technical education to young adults, equipping them with skills necessary for gainful employment, and whereas the Job Corps centers have been instrumental in fostering a skilled workforce that contributes significantly to local economy and community development, and whereas our recent federal actions have placed the continued operation of Job Corps centers in jeopardy, threatening the livelihoods of its students and staff, as well as the economic stability of the region, and whereas the Mason County Fiscal Court acknowledges the positive impact of the Job Corps on the community and the potential adverse effects that its closure would entail. Now therefore, be it resolved by Mason County Fiscal Court of Mason County, Kentucky, hereby expresses its strong support for the continued operation and federal funding of all Job Corps centers. Yeah, kind of shortened it, but. And so I'd entertain a motion for resolution, I think. Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Got a motion, and we have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. And so that brings us up to board appointments. Commissioners, we have some openings at the Mason County Public Library. We have Brooks Gully, who will be replacing David Horde, who has served 2 terms there at our county library. We have Miss Lisa Applegate, replacing Marilyn Commodore, who has also served 2 terms. And our thoughts are with Miss Commodore, as some of her family members are experiencing illness. And then lastly, we're appointing Leslie Mayberry to finish the term of Mr. Grant Felice, who has pulled back from the library board. And so I would entertain a motion to approve those candidates.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Also, so those candidates join, looks like Miss Ellen Cartmel and Miss Sarah Winter on the library board. And with Miss Mayberry, her term will wrap up because she's finishing Grant's term, will wrap up June 30th of next year. And so we have a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. That brings us to communications. Commissioners, we talked earlier, we have a meet greet for Meadowview CEO Kathy Van Campen this evening at 5:30 for new market CEO of LifePoint. That is at 5:30 this evening. Also, I made a point, I wanna recognize all the employees of Mason County for their continued efforts to hold costs down and provide a successful budget for this county going forward. Friday at 9 a.m., the Health Department and Buffalo Trace Aging Division will do a dedication of their memory garden. That's at 9 o'clock Friday morning. That is up between the Health Department and Buffalo Trace in that breezeway kind of walkway. That's at 9 a.m. Friday. TC Energy is scheduled. We've been helping them with a public input session that will be July 9th at the YMCA's the center, which is the old middle school. And so they will have some information about their expanded natural gas capabilities into the region.
What time is that?
I don't have a time yet, or
Oh,
either that or I forgot
that's
to write
fine.
it down, so I knew
That's
somebody
fine.
would ask. I'll get it to you. That's July 9th, though. The Hogs Trough, Starbucks, Kroger, Snappy's, Phantom Fireworks, and many others are opened or on track to open soon. Kroger's expansion is going well. They have repaved that parking lot out there, and I would urge all citizens to go out and take a look. It is very, very sharp. Also, Lewisburg Fire Department, their chief passed along thank you for assistance in paving their needed pad out there. And other than that, that's all I got. Comments from commissioners?
4th of July.
Oh, 4th of July parade's coming up, yes, sir. What's the date of that, Commissioner O'Hearn? What's the date on
Let me
that?
help you, it's on the 4th.
I helped. 7, isn't it?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion? We got a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.